Rock Me Mama.
I'm Macy.
And I'm Amy.
Welcome
and this is
to
Rock Me Mama.
I'll practice my singing voice for episode 6.
Episode 5.
Touched out.
Touched out.
Can I get an amen?
Oh. They say this like in the what to expect, you know, like the email that comes every week. Did you get that? What to expect?
What did you sign up for?
I signed up for some shit that comes every week and it's like,
do you still get it?
I do. I don't really read it, but it's like other moms too, like
oh yeah,
chime in. But it's just the touched out. It's like the get ready to be touched out.
Mm-hmm. And you are. We are 2 years postpartum, and
I'm still
can
touched out.
Still say I'm touched out. Probably more now than I was early postpartum, to be honest.
I think it's more, but like you just know how to handle it better because you're just kind of so used to everyone needing you and wanting you and touching you.
I'm also pregnant. Maybe that's part of it too.
You're pregnant. You're real pregnant.
Yeah. Like you can rub my belly, but if you come up from behind
and boy,
back off.
and boy, do men like to come from behind. They love to get on behind you and do the little press the hips.
It's a poke.
Poke.
Yeah, it's a poke. It's a woodpecker.
And the poke used to be invited. It used to be something like, oh, that's a little poke. Let's see where this goes. And then you have a kid and you're like,
I recoil. I
yeah.
like,
You
please no.
Clench your butt cheeks.
Yeah. Specifically right now. I just like she's closed for business. We're shut down, you know?
Well, you have Eli.
Yeah.
You have Wyatt inside. Yeah. You have Chase.
It's a lot.
And everybody wants to. And then also when you're pregnant, everybody touches you.
Yeah. I just, no touchy, please. I don't mind if people rub my belly.
I've been touching your belly. I wasn't doing it for a while, but now that you're so pregnant, I've been touching recently.
Well, and he moves so much.
Yeah.
Like y'all both just got to feel him.
And I hope that that's like.
Oh, I don't care about that. I'd rather people do that right now.
And women too. You're like, I'm not trying to like fuck you.
Yeah, no, I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just when you know the expectation is from your husband or, you know, it's like.
From a place of needing. And need isn't always sexual.
No, it's not.
It can be, I've had a hard day, I need a hug. Which I sound awful making that sound like that's a bad thing. But like sometimes truly at the end of the day, you're like, if you even breathe on me, like I will snap.
I remember those days. I mean, I'm touched out just because there's my husband, my kid, the dog staring at me. The dog
into my
the
soul.
dog staring in me. No, the dog staring at into my fucking eyes all day, stalking me. And you guys both make
eye contact.
You guys both know my dog.
Tito makes eye contact.
An unreasonable amount of stalking. Yeah. And then, you know, and then Farah wants to be held all day and I have to do everything with her. And like I said, my career is picking up a lot again. So I'm constantly having to do work on my phone and then she does not, you know, toddlers don't want you on your phone. No. Babies don't want you on your phone. You're not allowed to be on the phone. You're not allowed to focus on anything other than them.
Right.
So then it's the grabbing and the touching. And lately she doesn't nurse anymore. We stopped nursing at 16 months, but she's been like grabbing my boobs lately and being like, wow.
Oh, well, she just wants to see.
She looks at them and she touches them and goes, wow. And then Nick goes, oh, yeah, wow. And I'm like, you get out of here.
Boy.
Yeah. I'm like, don't even try.
Yeah.
But you're just being touched and needed and wanted. And it's very hard sometimes to feel like a person.
Yeah.
You don't feel like a person. You feel like a fucking thing.
I think, you know, this whole podcast is the idea of more so new motherhood.
Yeah.
Versus,
I'm sure, you know, mothers that have kids that are older are touched out too, though.
For
because
sure.
Kids just grab you. Like there's no boundaries with mom.
No. There's not.
No.
But this is more of like a new motherhood podcast because that's where we're at. And so to touch on that even more, like the postpartum version of touched out is, you know, this episode isn't about like sex for the first time after having a kid, but
we
like
could go there, but
that's a whole different thing too. Like there's fear associated with it to some degree, or trauma, I should say.
Yeah.
and fear. And then also you don't feel like it's your body. So I do remember there would be some times where Chase would like touch my stomach or something, and I would just, without even realizing it, kind of be like, ooh, because like it didn't feel like
because it's not your
my
normal
body, you know? And it wasn't even a like, oh, I'm self-conscious. It was just like a natural like reaction of like, ooh, wait, it feels weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And then when you're pregnant, you just don't.
Some women want to get fucked their whole pregnancy.
Yeah, that's not.
I have friends that were like, I could not get enough sex.
I don't. Whatever. Well, I'm not going to doubt them. Good for them. Good for your husband.
There's lots of women that love pregnant sex. I think there was a time in my pregnancy where I was like a little hornier, but for the most part, my pregnancy was like pretty bleak.
I had a few
It was pretty bleak for Nick. It was like, don't go, come on. Like every time you would try, I would be like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah. I had a few times during first trimester, but I think it was from dreams.
Pregnancy dreams.
Yeah. And I would roll over and be like,
let's go.
And Chase was like, am I dreaming? And yeah.
That's how they always are. They're like, is this real?
He's like, are you sure? I'm like, are you questioning?
Yeah. Do you want the moment to end?
There were like, I think 3 times. And I remember them specifically because I was like, wow, that was pretty awesome. Yeah. But then it just fades. And yeah, it's.
And then just postpartum. I mean, like, I remember getting cleared for sex, but being like just scared to do it just because like you feel really like you're very vulnerable down there. And
well, you don't know what it looks like, or at least I didn't
feel good at all. And then your husband's like, am I hurting you? And whatever. And you're like, yeah, this hurts.
Yeah.
But then also just looking at my body and being like, I don't feel sexy at all. And you're just your breasts are engorged and your stomach is like a loose, like bag. And your thighs are just like, everything is just gross, and your butt is saggy pregnant, like saggy. It's a sad
little pancake. Yeah, it's really sad.
And you also have a kid that's like needing you all the time. That you're like, I remember feeling a deep sense of it's me and her against the world, and that includes him.
Yeah,
and I really did feel very much like he was on the other side.
Yeah,
and it was her and I, and then there was him and the dog and family and friends and everyone, and they were all over here. And I feel guilty saying that, and I felt guilty at the time.
Yeah,
because I know all he wanted to do was be like with us.
Oh, and help as much as he could.
But I did feel this like profound sense of me and her against the world.
Yeah. Well, because especially in those first several months,
we're fighting to get this. We're fighting to nail this.
Yeah, and
anyone that comes in the way is interfering with this. And anyone else needing anything from me is taking from you. And like it just felt like he was not the enemy, but I did feel very much separate from him.
Yeah. Well, everything that you have to give is given to your kid.
Yeah.
Whether that's
you have nothing
your emotions or your really body or anything else. And so if that need for touch, like I said, even if that's so much as a hug, like you sometimes just you cannot do that.
Yeah.
Because you have been giving all of that to your kid. And even if you are a touchy-feely, because I would consider myself a touchy-feely person. I love little grazes or hugs or like if I'm having a conversation with you, it's very easy for me just to like naturally do this. But there's something about when you become a mom that like having one more thing touch you is just like, get off of me.
I mean, the dog especially. I remember like Tito was our baby before we had Farah. And now he's a dog.
Yeah.
And like we call him the Great Depression because he went through a very long mourning process of being like, I used to be a child and now I'm a dog.
Yeah.
But I remember the feeling of like almost hatred towards my dog.
Yeah, it's hatred.
Where I was like, get the fuck away from me.
We, the listeners don't know this yet. We did have a dog and we gave her away. She lives with my mother-in-law So she's in a great
She's
spot.
well
Like
kept. Yeah.
we made sure it was somebody, like we still see her. We made sure it was somebody that we
I understand,
knew she knew,
though.
but she became a dog.
The neediness and the whining and the barking and the whole thing. When you're postpartum,
If she did this to me one more time.
Yeah, I was afraid for my kid in the beginning because Tito doesn't know his strength, and he would want to jump on the bed, and I'd be on the bed breastfeeding with a C-section scar.
Yeah.
Wounded, and I would be like, he's gonna hurt us. Mm-hmm. He doesn't understand. He doesn't get it.
Yeah.
And so I had very strict rules about the bedroom with him, like at first, because he kept jumping on the bed and really scaring us. And it was like, that was the beginning, I think, of me really feeling like, get this fucking thing away from me.
Yeah. It's a protective thing at first.
Then I started, now he's so great with my kid, like they're best friends. So I have to be cool with it, but I still have it. I mean, there are times where he's whining in my face and she's whining in my face and the TV's blasting and I'm burning my fucking pancakes that I'm making for her. And Nick's upstairs working on his headphones blissfully. And I'm like, I'm going to kill everyone.
Yeah.
But like,
so overstimulated.
I'm just overstimulated. And the dog whining in your face, it's different with the kid because your kid you love more than anything in the world.
Yeah.
Your dog, you're like, you don't get to annoy me in the capacity that you're annoying me. No. You don't get to.
No.
Because I'll throw your ass on the street.
Yes.
I mean, my husband would never let me do that. He would more soon
Tito better
throw me on the street.
Saying his thank you prayers every night
to
for Nick.
Yeah, Nick holds it down for Tito. And I love my dog. He's so cute. Like you guys, seriously, like
she loves her dog a lot.
You follow me on Instagram, and you go way back deep. You'll see a lot of pictures of Tito. You rarely see them now.
Way down there.
Way down. But Tito was
the same with Lola.
Tito's a cute fucking dog. He's an Old English bulldog. He's very cute, but he is so annoying. Mm-hmm. And just being touched out like to that degree where you're doing everything and then you're doing a million things and you look down and there's a dog being like, great, like scratching at you. You're like, motherfucker, you better back up.
Yeah, I will die if you
better
try
back
this
up.
again. You will die if you try this again. Yeah. Well, and then there's a disconnect, back to postpartum and being touched out. There is a disconnect between your body being anything other than for your baby.
Yes.
So,
especially with breastfeeding.
Yes. And you and I both breastfed for 15 months.
Yeah.
And so that's all I could see them being my boobies. That's all I could see them being good for and used for.
Yes.
Because I could not separate, this is food for Eli, this is fun for Chase. Like I couldn't. No. It wasn't possible.
And I think it really, and this is super personal, but like what really fucked with me is my nipples are like a source of sexual, it's like a part of sex for me that I feel like I had to let go of that because I didn't want to associate my nipples with sexual pleasure because I associated them only with feeding my kid. Yeah. So when I would try to have sex with my husband, he would immediately go there and I'd be like, those are off limits right now.
Yeah.
I don't want you there.
Right.
I don't want you touching them because they're not to be used for that.
It feels
weird.
Took
me... I couldn't enjoy sex when I was breastfeeding. I'll be honest.
That's kind of how
I could not enjoy sex when I was breastfeeding.
Our sex life changed.
It took
after that too.
Stopping breastfeeding for at least a couple months for me to even be able to feel like at all like I could try to get enjoy sex.
Mm-hmm. That's when it shifted for us too, and I think a lot of that's because of hormones as well.
Absolutely.
Because like, man, if we could blame everything on hormones, then I would. But
it's also the physical, like someone is suckling on your boob 6 to 8 times a day. Like, why would you want anyone else suckling on your boob?
You wouldn't.
No. And guys I don't think they understand that like it is a disassociation.
It's a disassociation. Yeah. You shut that. Yeah. It's a disconnect between your body specifically.
Well, you also have to shut it down because it's so painful at first. You have to learn how to deal with the pain and it's like a constant because they're nursing for so long, for so many hours and hours. You're nursing over and over.
Yeah.
You have to disassociate so that you can get through it.
Right.
And so you can't just tap back in and be like, oh, now it's it's hot.
No, there's no combination. It's one or the other. Well, and then, you go through that whole stage of them being engorged and then them hurting and then all that. And then after I can't speak for your boobs. You still look really perky to me, which is lucky for you.
They have survived a little bit.
I don't know how yours look like that. But
they didn't. They were two little dead bird heads.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, recently, they're coming back to life.
They look really,
They are coming back to life.
Anyways, mine didn't come back to life. They look like...
but you were pregnant again, so yours are engorged again.
Now they're great. But at the end... they look so sad. They're so floppy. They look like my friend Fiona, who I mentioned in the last episode. She's British, and so I'm not going to try to imitate her, but hearing her say this is even funnier. She was the one that was, I said, 4 months ahead of me, and she didn't get to breastfeed her son as long as she had hoped for, but she did do it, and so hers went through the stage of like being Pamela Anderson to kind of leveling out and being pretty, and then to being, as she would call it, holding up a sock and there being a boiled egg in the bottom of it. Yeah. So like the sock is like
you hold up a sock in it and there's
literally like a boiled egg just hanging at the bottom. And so you like,
but that's kind of
flat, and then it's like think. Yeah. That's mine for sure went there. So all that to say, you go through the stage.
My mom used to call them fried eggs.
Yes, for sure.
Just like
yeah. And so then you go through the stage of like having to adjust to whatever those things are again. And like you lay down and it's like a piece of paper. It's so thin, but then there's this like, and I'm like, there is no way he wants to touch. Like, it's weird.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when I first got my boobs, here's a change in subject, but like, I remember when I first got my boobs and went through puberty, because I went through puberty pretty late. I was like, I didn't get my period till I was 15 or 16. Most girls get them at like 11 or 12 or 13 or something. I was like 15 or 16 and my boobs grew like over one summer. And I was like, these things are fucking great. Who wants to see them? Literally, I was like, anybody, who wants to see them? And I was so proud of my tits. Like I loved my tits. And so to have those taken away. Yeah. And now, I mean, they're better than they were right after breastfeeding, but they ain't what they used to be. They're a shell of their former selves.
Wow.
They're a shell of their former selves. They used to be great. And now they're just like, I used to not wear bras. I would never not wear a bra now.
Really?
No.
Well, I would not either, but I think
I would never not wear a bra because I just don't feel confident the way I used to. Also, once you breastfed, there's more skin. There's just more stuff.
So much skin.
So you're not going to just like throw in a tank top and call it a day. You're going to be like, I want something to hold these babies.
Yeah, they need a little support. Yeah, a little lifting.
What about your vagina? Like, how do you feel about your vagina after birth? Like, what is that? Does it go back? I don't know because I had to see.
Yeah, I would say so.
Do you feel like, how long does it take till you'll feel like confident about your vag?
Man, I'm trying to think. Ask me in 5 weeks and I'll have a better answer.
I have a friend who's having a vaginal rejuvenation surgery.
Really?
Coming up. Yeah.
How many kids has she had?
She's had 2, but she's having some sort of something plasty. I forget what it's called, but they're kind of just like tucking everything and doing everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because she was like, it's all stuff. She's like, stuff just is going on.
I mean, Chase has never commented on it feeling differently. I will say,
God forbid, what if he?
Well, yeah, I'd be like, this doesn't feel. I'd be like, do you want to be celibate for the rest of your life? Then, but I've talked to you about this before. I never really had a camel toe until after giving birth. So there's something shifted.
Yeah,
there where
camel toe.
I used to be able to
wear. Well, you don't wear underwear.
Yeah, but that was always the case.
But that's weird.
So, well,
you gotta wear underwear. You know, now you gotta.
Well, maybe. I do right now. Oh. I do right now.
I've always worn underwear. I would never, because I don't want I can't have the things rubbing against things.
I live in spandex.
Yeah.
So it feels like underwear for me. I only wear spandex. If I'm in a dress, I wear underwear because that's too much freedom, you know?
Yeah.
Or like jeans. No, thank you.
Jeans, thank God you wear underwear.
Yeah. I'm not psycho.
Okay.
It's really, when I say I don't, it's like sweatpants or like.
Yeah.
Or like what I wear 95% of the time. But yeah, I never really had one until after. And it was when I started working out again and wearing my like normal spandex that I was like, there's a distinction.
Yeah.
Right here and right here. I still, it is what it is.
Well, I'm sure Chase doesn't mind. I'm sure he's like.
He doesn't. We've talked about it.
Yeah.
He was like, I'd rather it look like that than not.
Yeah.
You know?
like, I'm actually loving this camel toe moment for you. He's like, this is a moment. I'm living for it.
Yeah. You know what's funny is this exact jumpsuit that I'm wearing right now.
Does it give you mad camel toe?
Yes. And my husband informed me of that. And I was like, are you telling me not to wear it because I like this jumpsuit? And he goes, I don't mind it. So
yeah, he's like, I'm like,
well, if you don't care and I don't care, I'm going to keep wearing this jumpsuit.
That's another thing about having kids is your give a fuck is.
It's as low as it can go.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think it's a secret I have a vagina. Yeah. I've been pregnant twice.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Sorry
about it.
No camel toe. I still have a vagina.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that's the difference.
I walked into my husband's office today just talking about like touched out and stuff. Like my husband's the kind of guy where like you give him like an inch. Mm-hmm. Like, so I gave him today when we were downstairs, I gave him a little like graze. You know, I walked by graze his butt.
You got to do it 5 times a day.
And said, oh yeah, we talked about this. Grazed his butt and gave him a little kiss. And then I walked up after the nap and he was in his office and I walked into his office and I was like, hey, I'm going to go do a couple things and then work out. And he said, do you need any goo?
No, he didn't. Nicholas. He's
because I'm technically about to ovulate. So he's like, are we doing like,
do you need?
He said, and that's his way of being like, want to have sex. Do you need any goo? And I said, no, I'm good.
I think I'm good. I don't need any. Just check.
And he just said, okay, cool. He didn't even care. He laughed. He was like, I don't care. But he was just wanted to make sure that it was out there that he was ready to give me the goo.
But do you need any goo? Do you need any goo? Are you low on goo?
Do you need my sperm today? And I said, no, after the meetings we had, I think we're going to wait for a minute to try again. And he's like, oh yeah, I figured. I was just in case. He said I was just putting it out there. Thank God he put it out there. Now I know he can give me the go if I need it.
That as long as
in the middle of a work day, he's like, "Do you need any go? I'm your guy.
You know where my office is, babe.
The guy is right here
upstairs.
To give the go.
Oh my God. Do you need any? I love that need was his word of choice.
Not want. Do you want any go? No. Do you need any go? And I said, no.
We're good. We're good on the goo.
I'm going to work out goo free.
Oh,
thank you. I'm going to go do my booty after baby fittest core, which I've been doing. I'm on my 11th class. I've seen major glute gains.
Her before and after is crazy. And she's only 10 in. It's crazy.
I'm actually very excited. But like I'm doing her program. And we're not going to self-promote too much on this podcast, but her program is pretty epic and it's extremely hard. And so my husband's been noticing that I'm doing this glute program because he apparently stares at my ass the entire fucking day.
So did Morgan and I.
Because he's like, I'm noticing your glute gains and I would like to give you some goo.
No. I've noticed with the more your glutes grow, the more goo you need.
Love to give you. Yeah.
The bigger the glutes, the bigger the need for goo.
I'm going to go do my workout without being good.
Yeah.
First. Thanks.
I was trying to explain. I cannot believe this is we're just talking goo now, but
who knows where we've gone with this episode.
I was trying to explain goo to Chase and like why, no free goo is
free
a
goo
thing, which like one day when we make t-shirts,
very liberal.
That will be
free goo is a very kind thing to do.
Well, yeah. And I was trying to explain to him that it's the goo stays in there. Like literally
never leaves.
It'll be 48 hours and you stand up from peeing and there's a glob that comes out and you're like, We had sex
Why?
a day and a half ago.
Why?
And it's still...
How did it get up there and live there?
The goo just keeps coming.
It keeps going.
That's what I was explaining. And he was laughing and I was like, you would understand why that's uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, I guess so.
No,
like,
they don't get it. They don't get it.
Your mess stays...
They get to goo and move on with their lives. We have to deal with all the consequences of goo.
Yeah. Ah. That is, I mean, that's on topic for being touched out.
Yeah.
It's tough, though.
But touched out is just every day. I mean, with a toddler, I remember thinking touched out was the most prevalent when you're breastfeeding and when they're really, really young and all that stuff. But now I think where we are now is a very touched out.
See, I feel it more now than I did postpartum.
Yeah. Because they're whining and they're hanging on you and they're pulling on you and they're tugging on you and they're fucking pulling there's a difference in their need for it. And they have all access.
Yes.
Passes
to
your body.
When you were breastfeeding, it was literally a life or death thing. Or when they were newborns or even, a year-old, they were so small that they could just, that's all they knew still. But now that they're walking, have been walking and are independent and all that I'll be making breakfast and he's up, peace. And I'm like,
Mommy, hold.
I need to finish making breakfast.
Yeah.
And now I know that they understand. Like,
and
he
they can
knows
use
what
their
I'm
words.
saying.
They choose not to.
Yes. And so that's another thing I think that's triggering too, is I'm like, you're hearing me say that I cannot hold you right now. Yeah. Mommy needs to make her breakfast.
Yeah.
Because mommy's a monster if she hasn't eaten.
Yeah.
Give me a minute and I can hold you.
Farrah doesn't even let me go to the bathroom.
No, he sits on my lap when I pee.
don't go to the bathroom alone. She comes with me and she plays with all the stuff in the bathroom and she tugs on me and she stares at my vagina and she's like, Mommy, pee-pees. I'm like, yeah, baby, mommy's pee-peeing. Mommy's going to wipe. Mommy's going to flush. And she's just all over me, throwing all my makeup down and doing her makeup. And it's cute, but it's also like, can I
pee?
Have one thing? And then there's just the constant hanging and the constant tugging and the moaning. And like, you can't get anything done without being touched and groped and pulled.
Nope.
And it starts to be a little maddening.
Yeah.
And I know that there will be elements, of course, right now it's such a cute age that I know that there's going to be a lot of things that I miss.
Oh, for sure.
That I won't miss.
Yeah. I think I'll miss, I don't know.
Not being able to do a simple function is going to be hard to miss.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it'd be nice to pee without my son sitting on my lap.
Yeah.
Like literally most of the time.
And crying. I mean, if I shower, she stands there crying and yelling that I'm in the shower. I mean, it's really just.
Yeah.
And then, I brush my hair. And there's a lot of things that are just so cute. She wants to do her makeup. She wants to brush her hair. And I love all that stuff.
Yeah.
But just the simple being able to go to the bathroom is something that I think most men will never understand.
No.
Is not being able, like Nick has known what it's like to pee and take a shit on his own.
45-minute long shit.
Yeah, the 45-minute shit. That's another episode. God, men really. Nick will be like, "Cool if I go to the bathroom," and I'm like, "Yeah."
No, they have to ask permission. I texted y'all about this the other.
Yeah, but they ask because they want you to say yes so that they can take 45 minutes to
Chase
sit on the toilet.
He'll go, "Hey, are you good if I go to the bathroom?" I'm like, "Yeah, see you in fucking 40 minutes."
Yeah,
I got it.
Like, I've never taken a 45-minute shit.
If I take that long, you better be calling the hospital.
Yeah, call the police. Mm-hmm. Someone stole me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not taking a 45-minute shit.
No, it's why they all have
hemorrhoids. They're sitting on the toilet and they're checking their phone and they're watching SportsCenter. Mm-hmm. Or they're listening to some fucking basketball podcast.
Yeah.
And they're just like relishing in their time that they don't have to deal with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they're living for that time that they do not have to deal with their kid or us. They're just sitting on the toilet, living for it, taking their precious time. No one's calling for them. No one's pulling on them.
No.
Because the kid is pulling on us.
Right. Yeah. That's what's hard about being touched out now is for me it's overstimulating.
Yeah.
Like I just need to be able to flip my egg on the skillet so that I can make my breakfast.
Let me send this email.
Yeah. Yes.
She wouldn't tonight she would not let me send an email.
Yeah.
She kept taking my phone, sitting on my lap and taking my phone. And I was like, I am going to lose my fucking mind. But they're so goddamn cute.
I know.
And they're so beautiful that you're just like, I fucking want to throw you across the room.
But I also want to smooch your head every second.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with
One thing that's been really hard for me that nobody warned me about was Eli wanting to sit on my lap, but literally not being able to because of my belly.
Your tummy,
and that's been one thing that's
sweet
been,
baby.
I know, that's been really hard. I wish that somebody had warned me about that because that sounds silly, but it actually is kind of an emotional thing.
Yeah.
Because, you know, for so long, can you see him moving right now?
Yeah, he's moving so much.
For so long, he could sit and like be, you know,
can he
nuzzled
lay? Can he
into
sit, like straddling you?
We've figured it out.
Yeah.
Like I'll have him here and his like legs right here, but he would get so frustrated. I mean, like screaming mad.
I never thought about that.
He couldn't. Yeah. I wish that somebody had warned me. And again, that sounds like a silly warning, but it really messed with him. Yeah. And he didn't understand, well, you know, baby Wyatt's there. Like there's no room. And now he's used to it. And I've heard from so many moms that first lap sit again postpartum with your oldest is great. But that's actually like the opposite of being touched out, is because I would love for him to be able to. But there are frustrations that have come with that when he gets frustrated and I'm just like, you cannot sit on my lap because there is literally not room.
No room. Yeah.
That's been a hard thing.
I can't imagine that because Farrah sits, I mean, we're a very physical mom and daughter. Like I don't come from a very physical family. Like my brothers and I and my parents and I are extremely close. My brothers are my best friends, but we are not a touchy family. Like we don't really touch each other, which is weird. We don't really touch.
Yeah.
But with my kid, we are we kiss and hug.
Oh,
and she is a crustacean on my body.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like she literally is a crustacean. So we are so touchy that that's another thing I just can't imagine not being able to.
Yeah, it's hard.
I bet it's hard.
It is hard. Which like just went full circle from me saying I'm touched out to be.
No, okay, so this episode is called Touched Out, but actually we want to be touched out.
But that's what it is. Like it's, oh God.
That's motherhood. It's just a fucking...
It's a mind fuck, man.
It's a mind
You
fuck.
want one thing and then you want the other. It's so wild.
Cheers to motherhood is a mind fuck.
Cheers to that.
Rock, rock, rock me, mama.